England have got 1 foot in the knockout stages already after 4 points from their opening 2 games. But it's been far from straightforward for Gareth Southgate, hasn't it?
Yeah, he's had to face several questions about form and fitness and has admitted improvements are needed if England are to go all the way in Germany. Let's speak to our reporter, Rob Dorsett. He's at the team hotel. Good morning, Rob. Southgate has got quite a list of things to address, hasn't he? What's the most important one going into this final group game?
Yeah, you're right, Gail. We've been talking about it a lot, haven't we, since that pretty dismal 1-1 draw with Denmark that England could have lost. They could have lost the game, let's be honest, on Tuesday night. I thought the biggest concern is the fitness of the players. I think that's plain and simple. We said coming into the tournament that so many of these England players were undercooked. I'd said that this is the worst prepared England team that I'd ever seen going into a major tournament. And that wasn't a dig at the manager or the players, it was just a fact. So many of them had come into the tournament with injuries, had missed games late on with their clubs towards the back end of the season, and that's still the case now. Jude Bellingham played his 103rd match in 2 seasons the other night. He was completely anonymous. He looked exhausted, didn't he? He couldn't impact the game as much as he has done. After a brilliant season with Real Madrid, he could only manage it really for 30 minutes in that opening game where he was outstanding, and then he's drifted away and been very, very quiet by his own incredibly high standards since then. And you look at Harry Kane, 49 goals in 52 matches. England's all-time leading goal scorer, most important player. The England captain as well, and he was very, very quiet as well. And how serious is that back injury? Does he need game time now to improve his fitness, or does he need rest for that back? It's a key issue, but Gareth Southgate has now admitted to it. He's kept it quite quiet about the fitness of the players because I don't think he wanted to alert opponents to it, but it's there for everybody to see, and he's now talking about it. Let's show you what the England manager has told the Telegraph, because I think this is very, very revealing. He says, it's because we are not pressing well enough with enough intensity. That's where he says the problems are. We have limitations in how we can do that with the physical condition. We can't press as high up the pitch as we might have done in the qualifiers, for example. And we're not keeping the ball well enough. It's as simple as that. We have to keep the ball better and build with more control. Then we will be defending less and we'll have more confidence. Well, he's right, isn't he? And we've got some stats which are a little bit complicated, but I'm going to explain them to you because they absolutely show England's problems when it comes to pressing the opposition, trying to win the ball back, putting the opposition under pressure. Have a look at this, look. Possession won in the attacking third. 3 times they've done that on average in the 90 minutes in this tournament so far. Compare that with the World Cup. Look, 6.8. Many, many more times they did that at the World Cup and in Euro 2000 and in the Euro qualifiers. Again, 6.88. Possession won in the middle third. 14 times they've done it. 21 in this tournament, 21 times at the World Cup. And look at that bottom one. This is the really interesting one. The number of passes per defensive action. I'll explain that, it's complicated. This is how many times the opposing team touches the ball before they're put under pressure by an England player. Twice as many touches the opposition are making before they're put under pressure in this tournament compared with the World Cup in 2022. Cut away from that graphic really quickly because we've got the England team bus just coming past us as they head off to training. All of these issues, all of the stats you've been looking at there, the England squad, the England medical staff, Gareth Southgate and Steve Holland, the coaching staff, they'll all be aware of it. That's what they'll be working on. England aren't pressing the opposition enough because they're not fit enough. That's what Gareth Southgate is saying. It's something they're working on, but it's a big issue. And it's a big problem for England as they go into their final group game in Group C, you have to say.
And, Rob, there's a lot on this game. I tell you what, actually, do you know what I've seen this morning? The first thing I saw when I woke up this morning, Rob, was you drinking pickle juice. And so we've got that in common, that yesterday we both drank this now famous pickle juice. And just for our viewers, as me and you both know, it's horrendous, isn't it? It's awful.
It's horrific. It's horrific, Pete. But the thing is, nobody told us. I got stitched up by Victoria Rudling, our production manager, Chris Johnson, our camera operator. Let's name them. Let's tell them who it is when they gave me this stuff to drink live on air. They didn't tell me you're actually not supposed to drink it. You're supposed to swill it around your mouth. I think that's what the England players have been doing, and it has that activation in the head. Have you been drinking it as well?
I felt sick all day yesterday after
drinking it. No one told you that, did they?
I must apologise to Emma Payton and Jamie Weir, who are on with me, because I was like, you just down it, guys, and we just did it like shots, and felt horrendous, and it was awful. But that's good to know. So you swill it and spit it out. Well, thanks, Rob, for telling me that, because
after the event,
I might give it another go now. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Should we ask Rob what we were going to ask him?
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Shall we?
Yeah.
You've talked about the concerns. Who potentially can address those concerns? I think England fans need a little bit of excitement this morning. Tell us what Southgate might do in that final game to sort of, get our hopes back on track, if you like.
Well, it'll be really interesting. It's really difficult to see what he's going to do with this team against Slovenia on Tuesday night, because normally, if England have already qualified comfortably by this point, he'd rest a lot of players and he'd try some other players out and have a free hit. England haven't got a free hit here. They need a point to guarantee qualification. They need 3 points to guarantee that they top the group. And they'll want to top the group because if they finish second, it may well be the host Germany in the round of 16 next. So they will want to finish top of the group, believe me. They won't want to come up against that prospect. So look, in terms of those pressing problems, he brought Trent Alexander-Arnold off after 54 minutes against Denmark the other night. And look, there is absolutely no criticism of Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's had a bit of stick, and I think it's really, really unfair because he's been trying to play in a position for the good of the team and the good of the nation and do what the manager wants in a position that he doesn't play for Liverpool. He's not a central defensive midfield player. He hasn't played that position for his club. So the fact that Conor Gallagher came on in both games to replace him, I think, is really significant. I would expect it to be Gallagher who comes into that midfield. His energy levels have been extraordinary for Chelsea this season. He is the fittest player in the England squad. He's the man who goes box to box, pushing England forward, winning the ball back when England don't have it. So all of that pressing game we've just been talking about, he's a big potential solution to that. Adam Wharton is as well. That's what he's been doing for Crystal Palace so effectively this season, but he's much younger, much less experienced, so it would be a bit of a long shot to throw him in. A lot of people talking about Kobbie Mainoo. Can he get more game time because his passing is so good? I think Kobbie will have to wait and probably come off the bench as well. But how many changes Southgate makes, I think, is really interesting. Bellingham may well need a rest, but England need a result. So does Southgate keep him in from the start and hope that they can sub him off later on? Harry Kane, absolutely likewise. Key players, key questions. Let's see what Gareth Southgate is planning. We'll be at live training in the next hour. Join us on Sky Sports News for that. Be very interesting to see who's out there. Is Luke Shaw out there as well? Because if he's not training, you have to say his involvement at any stage in this tournament is looking a bit doubtful.
Very, very interesting. Rob, thank you very much indeed. See you soon.